Let's be real for a second. Most of us, we kind of dread negotiating, right? I mean, it feels like this big, scary confrontation, a high-stakes battle where someone wins and someone loses. But what if that's just completely the wrong way to think about it? Well, in this explainer, we're going to tear that whole idea apart. We're going to reframe negotiation as a game. And like any game, it has rules, it has strategies, and most importantly, it has a playbook full of tactics that, trust me, anyone can master.
So yeah, if your stomach just ties itself into knots thinking about haggling over a car or, finally asking for that raise you totally deserve, then you are in exactly the right place. We're about to hand you a playbook with 10 super powerful moves. And these aren't just about surviving a negotiation. Oh no, these are going to help you win it. All right, let's dive right in.
Okay, so here's our game plan. It's broken down into 4 parts. First up, setting the playing field. Then we'll get into the power of listening. After that, it's all about playing the part. And finally, we'll cover making your move. That's how you close the deal on your terms.
All right, let's jump into section 1, setting the playing field. You can think of this like a game of chess. Your opening moves, they don't just start the game. They can pretty much define the entire outcome. If you get this part right, you're already playing with a huge advantage.
And the single most powerful opening move, the one you absolutely have to know, is called anchoring. It's so simple, but it's genius. Basically, the very first number that gets thrown out there in a negotiation becomes a psychological anchor. It's the reference point that every single other offer gets judged against.
Now, here's the crazy part. The anchor works on a totally subconscious level. I mean, even if you know all about this tactic, even if you're sitting there thinking, I'm not going to fall for that, your brain just can't help it. It instinctively latches on to that first number. It literally pulls your idea of what's reasonable towards it, whether you like it or not. So, what's the takeaway here? It's simple. You have to be the one to set that anchor. Always. Go first. And be bold about it. Start way higher than you want if you're selling and way lower if you're buying. But, and this is key, it has to be believable, right? If you throw out some absurd number, they'll just tune you out. But a confident, well-reasoned first offer that sets the entire playing field right where you want it.
Okay, let's move on to our next section, which is all about the power of listening. Now, this might sound a little counterintuitive, but the best negotiators, they often talk the least. Seriously, they use these very specific listening techniques to get the other side to reveal all sorts of critical information, all while giving up absolutely nothing themselves. So the first tactic here is called mirroring, and it is so simple it's almost sneaky. All you do is repeat the last few important words someone just said, but you say it like a question. Now, to them, it just sounds like you're really paying attention, but what you're actually doing is using a really powerful strategic tool. And this is a perfect example of how it works. They say, I can't go lower than $500. And you just calmly repeat back, lower than $500. Instantly, their brain goes into overdrive. They feel this deep psychological urge to explain themselves, to fill in that blank you just created. And they'll often reveal their limits or even make a concession you didn't even ask for. They'll start saying, what I mean is, and bam, just like that, they're negotiating against themselves, not you. All right, our next listening tactic is maybe even more powerful, and it requires you to do, absolutely nothing. It's called tactical silence. After they make an offer or state their position, you just pause, say nothing. You let that silence just hang there because, trust me, that awkward pause, it's your best friend. Just silence, yeah? Feel that? It's a little uncomfortable, isn't it? That's what it does. That tiny pause creates this immense pressure. The other person's mind just starts racing. They're thinking, oh man, was my offer insulting? Did I totally misread the room? And I guarantee you, almost every single time, they will be the one to break the silence, just to get rid of that uncomfortable feeling. And when they do, they'll often give something up or reveal information they never meant to. Okay, let's get into section 3, playing the part. Think of this section as the performance part of negotiation. These tactics are all about using a little bit of psychology and some nonverbal cues to get inside the other person's head and completely shift the momentum of the game. And first up is a classic, the flinch. It's simple. When they give you their offer, you physically react. A little gasp, maybe your eyes go wide, you lean back a bit. That nonverbal reaction immediately plants a seed of doubt in their mind. They're instantly thinking, whoa, was that way too high? Did I totally mess this up? You've made them question their own position before you've even said a single word.
Next up, a move you've definitely seen in the movies. Good cop slash bad cop. It's a classic for a reason. You have one person who's the harsh, by-the-book bad cop, and another who's the friendly, understanding good cop who acts like they're totally on your side. The perfect example? The car salesperson who says, "Oof, my manager is a real tough one. But look, I like you. Let me go fight for you and see if I can get him to approve this deal." The manager's the invisible bad cop, right? It makes you feel like the salesperson is your ally, and you're more likely to work with them. And then we have something called the door-in-the-face technique. Here's how it works. You start with a massive, totally unreasonable request that you know they're going to reject. So when they slam the door in your face and say, "No way," you immediately follow up with what you actually wanted, which is a much smaller request. And psychologically, two things happen. First, your real request now seems super reasonable. And second, they feel kind of bad for just shutting you down. So there's this social pressure that makes them much more likely to say yes the second time around. The first no is just part of the plan. And that brings us to our final section, Section 4, making your move. All right, this is the end game. These are the tactics you pull out when you're close to the finish line, and they're all designed to help you lock down the deal while squeezing out every last bit of value. Okay, the single most important concept in this whole section, heck, maybe in all of negotiation, is your BATNA. It stands for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. In plain English, it's your plan B. It's the answer to the question, what is my absolute best option if I just get up and walk away from this table right now? Knowing your BATNA, that is the true source of all your power. I mean, just look at the difference it makes. If you have a strong BATNA, like you already have another job offer or there's another house you love, you can negotiate with total confidence. Why? Because you have the power to walk away. But with a weak BATNA, you're basically negotiating from a position of desperation. So here's the most important thing to remember. Your goal isn't to bluff that you have other options. Your goal is to actually create those other options before you even walk into the room. Next up is a really critical rule. You trade. You don't just give. You should never make a concession without asking for something in return. Always. So if they ask, "Can you lower the price?" you say, "Well, I can consider that if you can agree to pay in 15 days instead of 30. See? It's always an if-then. This makes it clear that your flexibility is valuable, and it stops the negotiation from becoming a one-way street. All right, now for a move that's a little sneaky, but man, is it effective. It's called the nibble. Here's what you do. After you've agreed on all the big important stuff and everyone's ready to sign the papers, you ask for one last small thing. Something like, "Great, so we're all set. Could you just throw in free delivery?" Because the other side has already mentally checked out and considers the deal done, they are so unlikely to let the whole thing fall apart over a tiny detail. They'll almost always say yes just to get it over with. And finally, we have the nuclear option. The ultimatum. This is your final take-it-or-leave-it offer. It's designed to just cut through all the noise, end the back and forth, and force a decision right here, right now. But be warned, it is a very high-risk, high-reward move. It can either slam the deal shut right there or blow the whole thing up. And this right here is absolutely critical. There is one golden rule when it comes to ultimatums. You must be 100% prepared to walk away from the deal if they say no. I'm serious. If you're bluffing and they call your bluff, you instantly lose all credibility, all your power, and you've probably just killed the deal anyway. Do not use this unless you absolutely mean it. So there you have it. 10 powerful tactics that can take you from someone who dreads negotiation to a really confident player. From setting that first anchor to knowing you have the power to just walk away, look, this isn't magic. It's a skill, and it's a skill built on smart, calculated moves. The game isn't a mystery anymore. The playbook is officially yours. So now there's really only one question left. Which move are you going to make first?